Hey guys, isolation over the last year has really messed me up. I know this is kind of a somber subject, but I always want to make sure that these videos are authentic and that I'm not just talking about the good parts of having a creative business or being freelance, whatever. These are very real things, and when they come up and when they're in my mind, I just want to use this as a platform to talk about them. Something you should know about me is that before the pandemic, just in general, I can be kind of extreme when it comes to researching things, like a new product. Like when I was looking for a rain jacket, I have to know all of the available options out there. I have to read Reddit forums on whether or not how much water it can withstand. I have to do Amazon reviews, everything, look through every REI review, whatever it might be. I just get kind of obsessive. So that's me at baseline. Then you throw in there an abundance of isolation and things start to go out of control. I'm naturally an introverted person, but I've realized over the past 5 years that I'm a better version of myself when I'm surrounded by people and when I'm a part of a community. And so I've gotten really good at pushing through that introspective part of me and becoming a part of these groups. So I usually play in multiple Ultimate Frisbee leagues. I'm always going to meetups for design and animation. I am always climbing at the local gym with a big group of people. We're always having dinner parties and playing board games. We're just socially very involved. And this year, I went from having all of that, like many of you have, to having nothing. So as soon as the pandemic happened, I decided to seize the day, to seize the moment, and just take advantage of the extra time to get really, really, really good at my craft. I just had all this availability now that I could really push into things that I've been wanting to push into for a long time. Naturally, I started watching hours upon hours upon hours of tutorials, taking new courses, listening to podcasts, doing deep dives on Reddit forums about these different softwares and which one I need to learn next. I just became completely enveloped. And the hard part is that it really worked. Like I went from not very far in the 3D industry to having a really well-established career in the 3D industry in 1 year. Like it really pivoted. It was a very pivotal year for me. And to be honest, I just got a little bit addicted to that feeling. To give you an idea of just how addicted I got to the feeling, let me just walk you through just a typical day. Once the climbing gym opened back up, which it's been open for a while now, you still have to wear a mask while you climb, but I now, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, wake up and I get in my car. I leave my house at 5:30 a.m. and I put on a podcast, something business, something design related. So I'm already listening to something that early in the morning. I drive there, I climb, I listen to the podcast on my way home as well. Then I watch tutorials while I eat breakfast, while I make breakfast and eat breakfast. Then I take a shower. And I don't just take a shower in silence. No, I put on a podcast so that I can hear it while I'm in the shower. Then while I'm brushing my teeth, I go back and finish those tutorials or whatever I'm watching, a course it might be. Then I sit down at my computer and I start to work. And on one portion of my screen, I have more tutorials going. And this just carries on. All the way to nighttime. Then I'm sitting in bed with my iPad propped up after my wife falls asleep. I wait for her to fall asleep, then I prop the iPad up on my chest, put in headphones, and take some more courses. It's ridiculous. If this worked so well for me, why is it bad? Why am I even talking about how bad this hurt me when it looks like it helped me as much as it did? Think about this like a flower. You can feed water to a flower and it can absorb quite a lot of that water. But eventually it hits this point where you're just pouring water and actually damaging the flower. It's beginning to drown. And that is the point that I hit probably 6 months into isolation. I knew that I had reached maximum saturation, but I was so addicted to that feeling that I just wanted the progress. I wanted to feel like I was still progressing. And so I just kept filling it with more and more and more. Eventually, what happened is that I got to the point where I was so close to panic attacks. I got to the point where my wife would ask me where I wanted to go to dinner, and just that simple question, I didn't have room in my brain to process my options. Genuinely, I felt paralyzed. I had so much, my brain was churning so much information, just trying to absorb and crunch through the stuff I had already filled it with, that it didn't have room for anything else. Family members would call and ask what I would want for Christmas or anything like that, and it just legitimately, I just melted. Literally my brain just stopped working. Roughly 2 weeks after Christmas, I had somewhat of an epiphany. I had this realization that the amount of time that I spent thinking in 2020 was embarrassingly low. And what I mean by that is whenever I have a moment to myself, a moment where I can just sit there and think about something or process something, instead of doing that, I pick up my phone and I indulge in more. I realized that lack of thinking has had such a big effect on my mental health and the relationships with the people that I love and the friends and pretty much everything. It affects every single thing. I'm not able to be present with people as much. I'm not able to give advice or to hear and have empathy. I just got to the point where I was just so consumed with my own thoughts and yeah, I didn't have room for anyone else in there. That is so dangerous. Last week and a half, after I had that realization, thank goodness, I have taken so much time to just think. Anytime that I'm eating breakfast or in the shower or driving or whatever it might be, I am seizing that moment to think. And the results already have been massive. I mean, I'm just becoming so much more of what I used to be, and I'm so thankful for that. If you, I hope you don't, but if you for whatever reason resonate with this and you feel like you're just over consuming, whatever it might be, it could be tutorials or it could be Instagram, you know, that feeling where we just continually refresh, just hoping that we get that something pops up that gives us some form of gratification. If that's you, hopefully this is just a reminder to take a step back and to evaluate and to realize just how at some point it goes from helping to hurting you. I'll be sure to let you know what kind of effects this detox has had on me. And to be clear, I'm not removing Instagram. I'm not removing these apps or YouTube or anything. I'm just moderating it. I'm just realizing that it kind of controlled me there for a moment and not allowing it to. Maybe it'll get to the point where I need to remove them, but right now I don't feel that need. Anyways, I'll keep you posted on how this affects my life as I keep doing this. But you know, with isolation just continuing for the next few months, maybe even a year, until everybody gets the vaccine and whatnot, I think it's just a really important thing to evaluate. So if you're in a similar situation and you're kind of struggling with overconsumption as well, feel free to join me in this little bit of a detox. And let me know how it's going for you. All right, friends, it's been a great time talking to you, and I will see you next Tuesday. Have a great week.